starting a tiny bit early. Looks like it's 27 minutes before 11 o'clock. Joe Reichel is in the studio. We're going to talk about what he does when damage happens to somebody's home out there and find out what he's done this week. And I noticed you're color coordinated with your phone today. Your shirt and your phone kind of
matching today.
Do you do that all the time?
No, this is accidental.
Come on, Joe. How you doing?
I just got a new case for my phone, and I liked it, and just kind of went.
It just works.
Yeah, it just works.
Well, see, because I'm looking at you through the monitor here, and I can see the green up against the green, and there you go. And if this was a green screen technology, then you would be invisible.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I would just be a head.
You just have a floating head.
A head with some arms.
We should do that.
That would be cool.
You know what? I wanted to ask you something, actually, and then, boy, that was a coincidence. Have you ever used,
green screen? Yes.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
Let's see. Where did I see this? Oh, my goodness. It was the gardening software. There was gardening software where you kind of create a house. You have a photo of your house, and then you virtually put the different things in the yard to see what it will look like so that you don't do something you don't really want to do. Do you ever use that kind of technology to kind of visualize what you're going to put together when you're working on a house? Not the garden necessarily.
No, I was going to say no. We've never done the garden
part, but the structural part of it.
Yes, we can. We've got a program where we can put the building together.
Like Dan did it with this before this window was ever here.
Right.
He went outside, took a photo of this wall,
drew it in,
and somehow made it. And it didn't look like a drawing. I mean, it looked like it was really here already.
Yeah, it's amazing the technology that they've got for doing renderings like that to give you an idea, an actual vision of what it's going to look like when as far as a finished project.
So is that a tool, or is that just a cool little perk or something?
No, those are tools. There's
so
all
it actually
kinds of
helps
programs.
you as a designer. Are you an architect?
I am not an architect, but we have architects that we use in order to do different drawings and different plans so that people can see what they're going to get, and that's important. A lot of times people, for example, we were talking about a client of ours. We just finished up the final coats of paint on their home, and up until that point, she couldn't visualize what it was going to look like. So she took the paint and in different areas, put paint on the walls so that she could see what it was going to look like.
Right.
And, we've got
okay.
So kind of like that. It's people have a hard time visualizing what it's going to look like in the future. So when you're able to use a program like that, it definitely helps so that they can see more so what it's going to look like. They can visualize it better.
I always wondered why schools had the half wall thing. Well, like one half of the wall will be one color and the upper half will be another color.
I don't know.
Have you ever noticed that in schools? Like here, it's all one color except for the wall behind me.
We could paint another wall.
The wall behind me is a different color.
I know.
That's something Dan decided to do.
I like it.
He explained it, but I forget what he said.
It's because that's a better color for you.
So tell us a job you're working on right now.
Oh, so I just left a home in the Villages, and the construction of this home was such that you had different walls different roof pitches coming together, creating a point under an overhang, and at this point, debris gathered up, and they were having a water leak inside. Looking at the drywall damage inside, and I knew exactly what was causing it, or the area of the home. So I got up on the roof and I'm looking at it, and there was half of a garbage bag of leaf debris and debris off a palm tree that was stuck in there, and it just piled up.
How did somebody forget that?
Well, you couldn't see it the way the house was. This was the porch of the home, and then it was kind of like along a wall that was under an overhang, so you couldn't see it. And a rain, just the way it was designed, a rain couldn't wash it out. I'm going to be posting the pictures of this on Facebook so people can see. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but it was just a poorly designed poorly designed house, and then the way the gutters kind of drained into it as well. So creating a potential problem. And that's why, I mean, I've seen several homes with that type of issue, and I would never have that, as far as designing a house, have something like that, but people do it all the time. So,
do you know, I was watching this thing, some architecture in old Paris, and apparently you were taxed back in once upon a time by the square footage of the footprint of the building. And so what they would do is they would build these buildings on a certain footprint and then extend outward, like at 6 feet above the ground level.
okay.
So I don't know exactly what it looked like inside, but it sort of looked like, how these trailers that people have, they actually pull, or RVs, they have side
Right.
walls
Has
that pull out.
has a little
So
a
they
pull out.
Yeah, so they create like a larger living area.
I like it.
Inside. I do too.
Pull out house. That's kind of neat.
Oh, really?
Wouldn't it be?
I wasn't going there, but I see what you're saying.
I don't know why you'd ever push it back once you had it out, but
That's true. That's true.
yeah, the guys. Mike is on a job this morning, another water job.
Why would you push it back in? Yeah, if it's a permanent house, yeah, why would you?
Mike was checking out a house today. The water line to the refrigerator broke and leaked all under the floor of the house and ruined the cabinets.
You've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
This is why I don't want one of those. I'm going to fill my ice trays manually. I don't need this automatic fill the ice tray technology.
It's nice.
No,
but
it
it
sounds
does,
like it's a problem.
It does create problems every once in a while. And that's where these lines need to be replaced for sure.
Yeah, but who thinks of that? Who thinks of that? See, I would never. I would say, oh my God, there's water all over the place. Where's it coming from?
Get your lines fixed.
I don't have one. I don't have one of those. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I don't have one either.
I mean, how hard is it really to fill up an ice tray, put it back in there?
Not very hard.
Oh,
But a lot of people have ice makers and water dispensers on their refrigerators, and they do create quite a bit of problems. So.
You were working on a home last week that had been broken into.
Yes.
Two questions. One is just a progress report. Is it all done?
All done.
And
it's ready for the final carpet cleaning to be done.
Okay.
So.
And I don't know if this applies to what you normally talk about, but are there, like when you get ADT or something like that, are they effective in stopping that, in preventing that kind of thing?
As far as a security system?
Yeah, and ADT is probably unfair to say a name of a company, but like let's say I went into the mall and found a security package. I don't know. I mean, do they actually, what do? They call the police when there's, what do they do? We used to have one at another radio station I worked at, and actually it called Robin. And in the middle of the night, she went, and sure enough, somebody had broken a window and stolen thank goodness, only one computer. Mm-hmm. The one they could reach through the window because there was an alarm going off. So.
Right. So they left quickly.
I guess so.
And that's where, these systems, there's different types of monitoring, or some that don't even have monitoring. That's a weird word for me to say. But
it's just too early for
some of them just have, just an alarm with no off-site monitoring, so you wouldn't know what's happening, and just the alarm goes off. Or if you chose to have the systems with the monitoring, then it would have an outside third-party contractor take care of it, and they would either video or they monitor the system through the internet or however it's done, and you'll get a phone call or a message somehow that says, hey, your house has been broken into, or your alarm's going off. Do you wish for us to call the police, or
when you go to the bank, there's a camera right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
When you're I often think, why don't they do that at these convenience stores? When you see
a lot of them do have them.
They do?
Oh yeah.
But when they post the videos on like the Star Banner site, when they're looking for a bad guy, they'll post these videos, and they're
It's up in the corner
overhead. You can't see the guy. He's got a hat, and he's just. Does anybody know this guy?
Yeah. This guy in a black ball cap and shirt.
Right. I mean, if you had it, like the bank has it.
Right.
Boom, it'll be right there. The phone line is open if you'd like to call Joe and ask a question about damage that might have happened to your house or anything I guess we're talking about. The number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622. And Joe, you have a phone call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I have a question. While you were talking about the security cameras and alarm systems, would you know or would you have access to, if someone wanted to install their own security cameras without going through a company, do you know of anybody that sells that type of equipment other than like Radio Shack?
Well, I know the different stores like Office Depot, not Office Depot, Best Buy. Okay. Yeah, the one that's right next to it. Best Buy, they have that type of stuff. And then there's other companies that are, more of a local company rather than a big box store. I'm trying to think of what their name is.
Lowe's?
No, it's a local company that they sell them as well. It will come to me. Advanced Technologies.
Okay.
Advanced Technology, they have one. Robert Bisbee and Roland Sosa, they're the owners of the company. They sell that type of stuff. I'm not sure if they sell the kind that homeowner friendly, but they do it as well. But Best Buy would probably be the one of the best places I would think first to check for something like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's the information I needed.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I hope you never need it.
Have a good day.
So
You're welcome.
Okay.
Take care.
So the one I did not like was the one that had the motion sensor, because a roach could crawl onto that thing and then you'd have an alarm going off.
You could.
Simple as that.
You could.
I mean, I'm talking maybe 20,
I think they need to be a little more.
maybe 20 years ago is old technology, huh?
Yeah, it needs to be a little more. It's not quite that sensitive.
You have to adjust it, maybe?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think I have another phone call here. I hope I did the right thing. Good morning. You're on the air with Joe. Are you there?
Yes.
Good morning. You're on the air with Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Good morning.
Listen, I know you do water damage, and with all that rain yesterday, my sunroof leaked, and I have water all in my car.
The
Y'all don't do
sunroof.
cars, do you?
I was just about ready to ask if this was a sunroof in a car.
Yes, it's a sunroof in a car. But I thought of you when it came pouring down yesterday.
You did. Unfortunately, we don't do too much water damage in cars, but I appreciate you thinking about me, though.
Absolutely.
Have a great
Y'all
day.
have a great day.
He had another call, but maybe they had the same question because they bailed out. So maybe somebody else had a sunroof in a car.
Possibly.
So what water damage is water damage?
Water damage is water damage. Water damage is one of the worst types of damage, just because it gets everywhere and causes so much damage, whether to furniture or the carpet. Once it stays wet so long, it just ruins the carpet because of the glues and what holds carpet together. Typically will cause it. You have to replace it.
Well, I had real quick before we have another phone call. I had water in my car. I had the windows open, in other words. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, I had the windows closed, and it was hot as could be, and all that water evaporated, and there was water on the inside of everything in the car, and it literally made my radio not work. It was just spinning and spinning and spinning. The numbers just kept going around and around. Eventually, it dried out, and it went back to normal, but it was kind of a weird experience. Good morning. You're on there with Joe Reichel.
Hi, Joe. Good morning. This is Mike McCoy.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful.
Yeah, I own an auto repair shop here in Ocala, and we do see quite a few cars that come in with water in the carpet, and a lot of people think that if you just open your doors and leave it sitting in the sun, that it's actually going to dry out. Absolutely, positively will not dry out. You will dry the carpet on the surface. You'll dry the carpet on the surface. But if you peel the carpet back, when you've got water in the floor, and I don't care where you go, or the carpet has to come out of the vehicle. And the only way of getting it dry, there is a way. We actually do this quite often, and it's nice in the summertime. Right now, it's not so great, but if you pull the carpet out of it, and you kind of have to squeegee, because underneath the carpet it's a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what a sponge does, how much water it'll hold. And you'll take a carpet that might weigh, a full carpet in a average car might weigh 30 pounds, something like that, 20 pounds. But when it's soaked with water, it's all two grown men can do to lift that carpet and move it and
Yep.
get it onto the ground. And that's soaked, and it doesn't take, it will just keep absorbing it.
Wow.
So the only way of getting rid of it, and what happens is you will get mold underneath that carpet, and it'll make you sick.
Yep.
Especially since your air conditioning, when you turn air conditioning onto that button that says max air, it's recirculating. It's sucking air from the bottom down by the carpet. And if it's sucking the air from the carpet, it's sucking mold up in it too.
Sure is.
And you got to get that carpet out, just like in your house. You have to get the mold out of your ductwork. And so the best way to do it is you take the carpet out and you squeegee it. We actually, funny enough, we use a big wooden roller and squeegee. It just rolls the water right out between the carpet and that sponge onto the ground. And then you leave it in the sun. Not only does the sun dry it, but it'll also help kill the mold. And we spray it down with a antifungal, like just something as simple as
A mildicide.
on the backside, and leave it in the sun and let it, and it will dry out and it will become safe again.
Yep.
But the concern is more than the water is the mold that gets into it. And
Yeah.
You'll feel the carpet, and it's just as dry. It feels, I've got it dry. I've used a wet vac on it. But if you push down on it, you can feel it squishing underneath, because there's a plastic barrier underneath that carpet between the water, between the sponge and the carpet itself. You will never get it out.
No, it's for sure. We've it's funny, Mike. We have the same situation in homes. You can feel the carpet and won't notice anything, but when we use our moisture meters, you can check the padding, and it'll be in an area that's spread out a lot larger than what you notice. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, this one lady brought her car in, and she said, "Well, it's only getting water into the back. How's it getting into under the seat? It's not wet on the floorboard. It's wet under the seat." And I said, and what it does is just capillary action. It's just like a sponge, and that the plastic acts as a barrier, and it lets the water go and creep up over and just gets underneath the seat. And then there's a hole right there where they've opened up for a wire to come through that goes up to the seatbelt monitor or the passenger seat occupant monitor, and the water was coming up through that. And you push down on it, it would just squirt right up out of it.
Yep.
And we stripped it out. And we literally took our carpet out and threw it away because it was that bad. It was that much black mold underneath it.
Oh,
and
wow.
when we were taking it out, we always used some kind of a mask to keep from getting the mold under it,
Right.
Keep getting sick with it.
Yep.
It's nasty. It will eat you up.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's even it's always important in working with that stuff to use PPE, personal protective equipment. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah,
What's the name of your auto body, Mike?
It's not Auto Body. It's McCoy's Auto Clinic.
McCoy's
We're
Auto
over-
Clinic.
Yeah, we're right over off of 10th Street near 441.
Excellent. I appreciate you calling today.
Appreciate the plug there, too. I didn't mean to do that. But I do have one question for you, though.
Sure.
Maybe you could help me out I have a little house over here in Ocala that has, it seems to have a musty smell coming from the AC, and I've cleaned it, but I have not cleaned the ductwork up inside on the overhead. And what would you recommend for cleaning that ductwork out? If that's, only thing I can think of is humidity. There's lint or something up in the ductwork, and maybe that's getting the moisture up in there. It's retaining the moisture. Maybe I'm getting a little mold in that. Does that sound likely to you?
Well, it is possible, and it's hard to say. Let me ask you a few, construction questions. What kind of duct work is in the home? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the flex duct, the flex tubing that goes up in the attic.
Right. So that's got a plastic liner inside. So
Right. Exactly.
It's hard to say how that, as far as what would be, what could be causing it. It could just be something in the unit itself, or the air that is pulling through. So have you had an air conditioning company take a look at it yet, or test an air quality test done?
This is something that just kind of came up within the past few days, and
Okay.
I had a little bit of a concern about it. So I've had one person in the house that they seem to be having some respiratory difficulties, maybe, and but nobody else. So I don't know how it would affect one person, not the other.
Well, everybody is sensitive to different things, that's for sure, and what can bother one person or make one person sick isn't necessarily going to make another person sick, or they might not be susceptible to that type of
that makes sense.
So a lot of times, what will bother one person in a home isn't going to bother everybody, or maybe a child will be sick in a home and the adults aren't. So it really, I wouldn't really use that as something saying that there isn't or there is. It's hard to say. The best thing to do would be to have an air quality test done. You can have your home tested just to see what it is, and then from that you can narrow it down and find out where or what's causing it, pretty much.
What is the cost of something like that normally?
We don't do those because we're the company that takes care of it, so we hire third parties to come in and take care of that. One of the companies that we use for air quality testing is USA Home Inspection. They do it. And then also Steve Metz is the guy's name, and I'm drawing a blank on what the actual name of his company is. But
that USA Home Inspection sounds really familiar.
Yeah, they do home inspections in the area, and great company. They do a lot of stuff for us, and I can give you their phone number if you need it.
That would be great.
Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up here. Chris Ulrich and Curtis Saylor are the owners of that company. Great guys.
You know what? They actually did the home inspection on my house that I just bought.
Really?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They did the home inspection on my house, and they did a great job. Yeah. They actually helped me save some money on my house, because there was a couple of issues that needed to be taken care of, and they actually it was taken care of and saved me actually a lot more than it cost me for the home inspection.
Awesome.
They saved me that much, so the home inspection actually paid for itself.
They often do. Their work number is 352 450 3020.
450-3020.
That's it.
Okay, I've taken up all my time. I appreciate it, and appreciate the information. I hope the information I gave you is a little helpful too.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike, for the call.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
So if I got one of those handyman special houses,
okay,
and then my loan included money to fix it up, but I have no clue how to fix it up. Could I call you for that?
Sure. Yeah, we do all kinds of home repairs and additions, remodels. I meet Thursday afternoon with a young couple they just bought property and they're planning on building, and they're interviewing builders right now. And
see, it sounded like, and I'm asking because it sounded like I think Caroline, who did the show before you, it sounded like her daughter was buying a house that might qualify for that, and it sounded like I'm not trying to reveal personal information about Carol Ann, but it sounded like the loan included the price of the house and then extra money to fix it back up.
Right.
I have no idea if her daughter and her husband know how to do it and have those skills, but I'm thinking if I was in their position, I wouldn't have. I'd have a handful of money and not know where to go.
Right. And that's what happens a lot of times. And I mean, there's different directions that people can go for that. I mean, you can hire, someone who specializes in just each individual thing, or you could hire a contractor, general contractor like us, to come in and take care of getting everything done. So that's kind of where we specialize versus the handyman. We can organize and get everybody, as far as a whole package together to put it all together.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, and real quick, I wanted to go back to the soggy carpet.
Okay.
How he began his call. Was that similar to what you do with a house carpet?
Very similar. We don't take it out and set it in the sun. We'll dry it in place if a carpet can be saved. Pretty much what we'll do is we never save the padding, simply because he was talking about how the padding of a carpet does act like a sponge.
Right.
So what we'll do is fold the carpet back, take the pad out from under it, and then we will what's called floating a carpet, where we'll put the fans underneath it in order to get air flowing under the carpet, and dry it out that way, using dehumidifiers and whatever too. We also, a step that I skipped in there is extracting the water. We extract what water we can.
Some kind of a suction machine or something?
A giant wet vac.
Oh, okay. Just pulling it out.
It's not quite a wet vac, but
the old-fashioned way.
Right.
Pulling
a big sucking machine.
All right. Well, that was interesting. I was enjoying eavesdropping on you.
Hey. Anytime.
So what is your phone number? And by the way, do you have any more magnetic
the magnets are on the way. We should have them next week, though.
Okay.
So we can get anybody who wants a magnet. But my phone number, 352-817-6574. Or you can email me, joe@damageflorida.com.
All right, Joe. Always fun.
Always fun.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks.
We'll be right back.